Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV. Well, if you're watching this on the day of release, we are now in lockdown. Yes, it's the second lockdown. I hope business is good for you over this lockdown period. If the last lockdown is anything to go by, I think our industry is going to be very, very busy. We've already seen an increase in business on Saturday and Sunday as soon as the announcement was made. Sunday was the best Sunday we've ever had. It was scarily busy. We were so pleased that we managed to get our backlog down to 0 for the first time in 7 months on Friday. And then this happens, so it's had to go back up. We're still looking at shipping dates 2 to 3 days at the moment once you've placed your order. But I would say we are staying open, and I've talked to Amscan, I've talked to Pioneer this morning, and they are staying open also. So I think we're in a much better position this time compared to back in April, where we were still trying to figure out what we were doing. We all now know the processes, the procedures, and to wear a mask and all the rest of it. We all know what we're doing a little bit more. I still think it's going to be quite hard for everybody and us as a nation, but I think as an industry, we hopefully will pick up quite a lot of business because obviously the likes of Card Factory, etc., are closed. So I wish you well during this next lockdown period. Now, not last week, a couple of weeks ago, we had a competition and we said, tell us about your favourite Balloon Market TV moment. And I did say that we're unlikely to have that many entries. Well, I can tell you, we didn't have that many entries, as I expected. We had a total of 5 entries. So thank you to the 5 of you that entered. It really is appreciated that you took the time to do that. Now, there's 3 prizes. 3 of you have won, and you've won a £100 voucher to spend at Balloon Market. But because there was only 2 others of you, I just thought it was a bit tight not to give you something. So we're going to give you guys a £20 voucher to spend at Balloon Market as well. But before I announce the winners, let's have a look at those moments that you enjoyed, or some of the shows that you said you enjoyed. Okay.
What do you get when you cross a caterpillar with a tickle bubble? The dog? No. Malcolm and Monkey, of course. Subo Inspiration 104. Thank you, BMTV.
There we go.
Oh.
We've got a little caterpillar there.
Just had a bit to drink.
There we go.
So for me, my favourite BMTV moment has to be when you showed us, Greg, the different sizes of latex balloons, and you went as large as 8 feet.
As you can see, it's absolutely massive.
And it blew my mind with all the amazing creations I could then make. So for me, that's why I loved it. And it was just so funny because you kept saying to us, oh, you know, but that's not it, but that's not it. And they got bigger and bigger and bigger.
So this is it, the biggest balloon we hold.
I just want to say, first of all, a massive thank you to all the professionals that come on your show and give up their time and knowledge to share little golden nuggets with us. I really enjoy when you show us all the new products that are coming out, because my mind just goes crazy of what can I do with that. I really loved the Christmas spectacular. I really got to know all the people that pack my orders, so that was really good fun to get to know you all a bit more. Greg, I'm going to steal this magic from you. I'm going to do the magic clap, and hopefully you'll be able to see what it is. So here we go. Ta-da! Thanks for Balloon Market. Look forward to the next 300 videos.
Bradley's heading back towards the back of the warehouse. Oh, there's a shelf there. Let's have a look at that in an instant replay. Matt almost wipes out an entire rack of shelves.
I'm fairly new to the business, so your videos have helped me so much through the years. But if I was to pick one favourite BMTV moment, it would probably be when you have Dr. Bob on the shows, because it's so nice to see a familiar face, and I find his designs so inspirational. Can't believe it's your 300th show, and can't wait for the next 300.
If you've got the equipment, it's much quicker, more efficient, but sometimes stuff can break down as well.
Yeah.
So there's always an alternative, isn't there?
Yeah.
I've just taken Matt's idea of a hot air balloon and used it for a pumpkin, because I'm actually standing outside ready for the trick-or-treaters to arrive. So I'll take you around and show you what I mean. The wall for my balloons, the treats are inside. This is the idea of Nat's hot air balloon that I've used for my pumpkin. 3-foot balloon with the straps around, so it makes it like a huge pumpkin. And my 3 scary witches are a bit blown to pieces now, but I have got a huge spider over here as well.
So there you go. Thank you guys very, very much for doing that. Now, the winners are, pretend envelope, pull it out. Thank you to all of you, first of all. But the winners are Claire. Thank you so much for your Halloween designs and showing us those. Alex, thank you for being very creative. And of course, Hayley, thank you, Hayley. And it's really nice we had to cut your video down a little bit, but thank you so much for that. And Shanice and Daffod, really appreciate you doing it as well. And there's a £20 voucher on its way to you. So yeah, thanks once again to all of you. Right, now, the next thing we're going to do today, we are joined by our very regular and special guest all the way from Milton Keynes, Mr. Chris Horne.
Hi Greg, how are you?
I'm all right, how are you doing? Thank you so much for doing this on such short notice.
No problem.
I should share with everybody, shouldn't I, really? We've given Chris 2 hours to come up with something. I just sent him a quick text and said, Chris, any chance you can get in front of the camera in the next hour or two? And he had to stop for lunch. I mean, anyway, what did you have for lunch, Chris?
Oh, I have my usual Tesco sandwich.
Oh, very
It was
nice.
in the fridge upstairs. It was very quick. It was easy.
Have they got the Christmas sandwiches in yet?
I didn't see any this morning, but then I wasn't really looking. So
I quite fancy a Christmas sandwich soon. It's getting to that time of year. We're going to start hearing all the Christmas music soon, aren't we?
Oh, yes.
Indeed. Right.
I'm going to do Christmas now.
Oh, it's Christmas already. Well, why not?
It's Christmas already.
On this wonderful, by the time you see this, everybody, this is lockdown 2.0 day. So we're going into our second lockdown on Thursday, and this will be going out on Thursday. So Chris, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for doing this. We're going to do something Christmassy. Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, so with the lockdown, I mean, it's all very much on everybody's minds. We're all going, oh, what now? What are we going to do now? Here we go again. And obviously Christmas is in the frame, whether it's going to be affected or not, how we're going to do it, who we can see, and everything. So it just occurred to me that maybe I ought to look at coming up with a design that we can use if the worst comes to the worst and we're still having to do contactless deliveries and can't get into places. So a yard sign, a wind waver, whatever you want to call them, that can be delivered, parked in the front garden, Santa stop here kind of thing.
Okay.
Just relatively simple, but hopefully really quite effective, and that's what we've come up with. So I thought I'd put one together. So I actually have pre-inflated most of it, but I can take you through what we're going to do. So first thing is you've got to have a stake to put it on.
Yeah.
And you can use steel rods, rebar, all sorts of things. But I've found that the really heavy duty black electrical conduit that you can pick up from the local DIY place that comes in sort of 3 metre lengths is very strong and very reasonable, and works a treat. So what we've done is to cut it at a 45-degree angle. We buy the 3 metre length, slice it in half basically at a 45-degree angle, which gives it a nice strong spike to push into the earth, and it holds really well. Yeah. It's got a little bit of flexibility about it. So I don't know what it's doing with you down in Southampton, but up here in Milton Keynes, it is blowing a hoolie at the moment. It's absolutely crazy wind.
Absolutely, it's a bit breezy down here.
Test it to the limit, it would. Yeah. But if it does, it's got a bit of flex to it. Yeah. So that should work quite well. And in order to work on it, because this is a concrete floor, I can't wedge it in here. I've got the ever-present lamp base with the two things in, and I just drop that over there like that, which means I can now work on the thing quite effectively. Also means that it can be displayed indoors like this if you want to, because you just drop it over your lamp base. So we'll start with that, and then I'm going to put a cluster of balloons on the top end of it. First of all, I need to make sure it's not going to escape. So I'm going to just a scrap of 260, any balloon really, wrap it round and round and round a few times, and tie it nice and tight so that I've got a stop, so that it will stop any balloons that I wrap onto the pole sliding off the end.
I see. Okay. So that's not to give it friction. Okay, so that's effectively just to stop it coming off.
Yes. So if I wrap something around here and then put pressure underneath it, it will have a tendency to. Okay. But this will stop it flying off the end of the pole. Okay. Good. I've got a cluster of 4 5-inch. These are crystal reflex red. Nice. So I've decided to use those colours just for a slight variation from your usual sort of bright red, bright green. Yeah. I thought I'd use the crystal reflex because it's a nice soft red, and it just, slightly different. Mm-hmm. Wrap that around the top, and that will now sit nice and firmly because I've wrapped it underneath the stopper that I put on before. Yeah. Then I've got 4 260s which I've tied into fully inflated. Yeah. Let a little bit of air out so there's a bit of softness there. Tied them into duplets, twist them into 4. Got a reflex gold, crystal reflex red, fashion tone green and fashion tone white. Okay. And these will hook down between the 5-inch balloons. Like that. And then I'm going to do the spiral thing.
Oh, I like it when you do that.
Which could be quite interesting because this is spinning around like a mad thing on here, so I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do this. I'm going to wedge my foot up against the end of it and hope it stays put. So it could go horribly wrong, this, but hopefully not. And I usually spiral upwards, but this time I'm going to spiral downwards, so I don't know. Haven't had a chance to practice it. You didn't give me enough notice.
Sorry.
It's all right. Fingers between the balloons. So we're going to pass the balloons from finger to finger to finger. I'm not going to wrap them, and I'm not going to turn my hands around. I'm going to pass the balloons around like that.
It always amazes me watching you doing this. You make it look so easy.
Years of practice. So I'm going to disappear off camera now because these are really long balloons and they've gone down further than I thought. So just forgive me for a moment. Okay.
That looks awesome already, just really Christmassy.
Right. So I grabbed hold of it at the bottom, and then once we've got down, I'm going to twist 2 of the balloons together. And then twist the other 2 balloons together, and then 1 from each pair, and the other ones from each pair, just to lock them in place. Mm-hmm. So that's now twisted them on nice and tightly onto the pole. That went better than expected. Just to make sure that they're not going anywhere, I need to burst out the remains. So I'm going to take that one, which was the longest, and wrap it really tightly around a few times in the direction of the spiral, which will then keep it locked tightly onto the pole, and then tie it off with that. So there we go. So I've spiraled the 260s around the pole and tied them off nice and tight. So I could now deflate these without fear of them coming undone. Okay. Now it's a bit untidy down here at the base, so to tidy it up a little bit, I've got a cluster of 5-inch reflex gold, and those will wrap, just make sure, yeah, wrap onto the bottom here. And I should push them up nice and tight against the base of there. Those inflated to about 3 inches or so.
Yeah.
I don't do measuring balloons very well. I blow them up to the size I want them to be. Yeah. So, but that's about 3 inches. And then another cluster of 4 5-inch reflex crystal red, which I've inflated to about 2 inches, and those will go underneath. Like so, and again push nice and tight, and then that tidies up the base of the spiral, gets everything sitting nice and flat, and there we go. So that's the North Pole.
Okay, love it.
That's because you're in Southampton, I'm in Milton Keynes, we're in the north, you're in the south and North Pole. But doing it the other way around.
It looks great though, I really like it. It's so simple, but it looks so good already.
It's very simple, but it looks great already, doesn't it, just by itself. So on top of that then, we want something to wave in the wind.
Can I just ask a silly question though? Obviously there's a big gap at the bottom.
Yeah.
You're leaving that there?
That's to wedge in the ground with.
That's what I thought.
So you'll shove it in the ground until to that point there.
Yeah.
So this will sit on the soil.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. No, that was designed. That was supposed to be there.
No, I know it was. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, no, good. Thank you. I should have said, shouldn't I? But, right. So what we've got here is some of the 6-inch reflex gold Lincolns, which are pretty newish and ever so exciting. I love using these because they're great, and I've just tied 4 of them into a cluster of 4, and then just added a chain to each one, and each one just gets a little bit smaller, 5-inch on the end.
Yeah, that's great.
Couldn't be simpler. Leaving the necks in place, and then that will sit on the top of there. Wrap it round several times to make sure it doesn't come off when the weather gets a little bit exciting. Okay, so now we need a topper for the whole thing. So what I want to do is to make a little snow globe. So I'm going to use a standard size, 18-inch size or 18 to 22-inch size crystal clears, a junior shape jovial Santa, and some snow.
Oh, excellent. What are they? Just the polystyrene bits?
Yeah, the polystyrene beads. No high float this time. Not going to stick them to anything because I want them to move around like snow. So we'll take the clears.
Of course, because it'll be blowing around in the wind.
Yes, so it should all swirl about.
Oh, cool.
That's the theory, anyway. A lot of this is built on theory. Air in the valve. So what I'm going to do is to inflate the clears quite a long way, because this balloon is taller than the uninflated size of the clears balloon. So if I stretch this first by inflating it, it'll give us a little bit more leeway. So it's going to be easier and quicker if I take the valve out now and then inflate it without the valve. So good old trick. Air inside, pinch it seam to seam. Been through this lots of times before, never hurts to do it again. So pinch from the sides, the 2 seams come together like that, cut it in an angle, and then whee, out goes the valve. Love that. Could never tire of that one.
No, I'll never get bored of that.
And now I'm going to inflate it more quickly. That's better. Okay, that'll do. Just going to hold it for a second. While I'm holding that, I can get this out of the packet. So there's your little Santa balloon. We need to be able to put him inside the clears. So we need to sort of fold him up a bit. I think that'll be settled enough now, so I can let the air out. While I roll. Yeah, that's cool. So I'm going to roll him up vertically first, from side to side. So, like that. And then from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And as long as you do it carefully like that, he will unfold again when he's inside the balloon.
Okay.
If you just screw it up, it's not going to work terribly well. Put the scissors on that to hold it down, because next step is to put the snow into the balloon.
Mm-hmm.
Now normally I would, if I'm going to stick the snow down with high float, which I've done on a couple of BMTVs before, I believe, I would high float the balloon and I would use one bottle, 500 mil of snow per balloon. But because this time I want it all to swirl around, I'm going to put more in. So I'm going to put 2 bottles in. Stretching tool, pull it down so that the tips of the tool are inside the balloon, which then gives us a nice big opening. In goes the snow.
So is this something you've done before, Chris? Or have you
no, never done it before.
You've
in my
literally
life.
just come up with this. What I mean?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, well, we was playing around with one or something similar, the snow globe idea before, but on a different scale. And certainly not added it to the top of the entire thing is completely new.
Oh right,
never been seen before thing.
Excellent. Nothing like a bit of pressure to get some great designs.
I don't normally work very well like that. I like time for things to percolate a bit. But mercifully, we've had lots of new products and lots of things. So I've been trying out lots of ideas and stuff that haven't actually come to fruition yet. So there was stuff sort of sitting there waiting to be sort of pulled together into a design. So it wasn't too bad, but yeah. If you do it again to me, I'll fall out with you.
Every other week, Chris, you can expect this now.
It's fun. You were going to ask a question.
I was going to say, what's the stock availability like? I think I asked you a few weeks ago. How's that looking at the moment? Sempertex wise, it's looking a lot better. Still not, fully up to speed. I mean, we'd like it to be better, but it's a lot better than it has been. We had a huge delivery last week, which has come in, and loads of orders, of back orders have gone out. Hopefully you've received some of your back orders and are a bit better off. We've got stocks of, lots of stocks of the real key things like fashion white and all the rest of it. We've got quite a lot of stuff, and then there's another massive one coming in 4 weeks' time. Hopefully we'll be here to see it. Yeah, we will.
And that should put us on a really good footing. So it's cool. Much less stress regarding stock as there was. There's still things out of stock that we wish weren't. But a lot of the staples are there now, so it is a lot better. Right, so snow's in. I've stuck the Santa in through the note now, and I'm just going to inflate him inside. Now he might look a bit pinched to start with. Poor thing. Reminds me of one of those contortionists you see on the telly sometimes. Squeeze themselves into a little acetate box. Right, now the Santa is valved, so I should be able to just leave him now and concentrate on inflating the clears back up.
great.
Need a little bit more air in the Santa. It might be tricky, but we'll see. Should be okay. I need to get the air in the Santa without letting the air out of the clears. There we go. Okay, and there we go. So he's sitting at a little angle because of where the inflation point is. Don't mind that. I think that's quite cute.
Yeah.
I like that. So I've got that there. I'm going to twist around lots of times. Another bit of 260 modelling balloon. Wrap it round several times here to get a good seal. Tie it off. And then use that 260. Oops-a-daisy. Hang on. Should be all right. Don't know my own strength, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes. That's got it. Use the 260 then to attach it into the top of the wind waver. So we'll bring that back again. This will sit on here. Basically, there you have it. So I just need to do a little bit of faffing about to get it all to sit straight. There it is. And that should then catch the breeze. Everything will swirl around inside there, and should hopefully encourage Santa to stop on this front lawn instead of that one over there, or hopefully as well, I suppose. Did a little small version, tabletop version as well.
Oh, brilliant. Look at that.
So this is using a Clears Petites and a mini shape.
Yeah.
That's the standard Clears and a junior shape. This is a Clears Petites and a mini shape, just a double layer of balloons on the end.
So exactly the same technique there. But
precisely
just smaller. How much polystyrene did you put in there? Polystyrene balls?
That's one bottle full, and that's two. Maybe that could take three.
Yeah.
I didn't test it out. I thought two would be enough. I think probably another lot would have made it a little bit more impressive.
Wow, Chris, that's absolutely
you get the
fantastic.
idea.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. That's really. I really like I like both of those. They're really good, and the little one, perfect for deliveries, which obviously I
very
do,
cute, isn't it?
I do think we're going to get quite busy with deliveries now as an industry, because obviously that's what happened last time, and I think the same is going to happen again, and that's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
So, one more thing. If we lift him back up again, if you wanted this to be indoors, carry it all the way down, but then I just thought we could add around the bottom of it. So these are cubes with bows on, with stretchy taped a 260 to the corner and tied it in a loop, and then again we just hook it round like that. Oops, he's going.
Oh, Santa's gone.
Oh, poor Santa's just took a dive. Never mind. And then these are your or our spiral sweetie type things, just wrapped up in clear cellophane. So it's a wind waver, but it's also a bit of decor for indoors if you want it to be. There you go.
Well, they're great, Chris. I have to say, I absolutely love them. And given the amount of notice you had, I think you've done a phenomenal job there. So I think that's definitely an insight into the creative mind of Mr. Chris Horne. Now, as you know, Chris, as you know, as a guest, you get to ask the BMTV Nation the question of the week.
Do you know what? I've forgotten about that. Can't you just let me off? I had enough thinking of that this time. Go on, please.
Oh, all right.
It's Christmas.
Okay, all right. No question of the week. All right. Thank you anyway for this. This is fantastic.
It's a pleasure.
And it's been really nice to see you and Jacob so quickly from sending that text. So thank you once again.
Great pleasure.
Anyway, everybody out there, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Stay safe, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.